Hi, I'm getting started. Just 1 second, I'm pinning a comment. Hi. Hello, everyone. Hi, I'll be right there. Hello, hello, thank you for joining. I didn't know there was a limit on here. Hello. Okay, so let's pin that. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm trying a whole new setup here, so let's see. My hair's a little frizzy, but that's okay. Hi, welcome. It is Peaceful Nick the Medium. Sorry about my ugly vent up there, but I have some cool paintings. That's my Grinch village. I am an evidential medium specializing in healing messages. I'm also a scientist. Click some likes. I have 0 likes. I've never seen that before. Click some likes so we can get a bunch of people on here. I might do some readings. There's my Grinch. He's watching. He's all wrapped up in his cozy blanket. Ask me any mediumship questions you like. I teach classes, mediumship classes. Oh, thank you for all the likes, everyone. I see soccer balls going up. That's new. What's going on, Stout Trout? What is going on is I'm an evidential medium, and I'm going to answer questions about mediumship. And if I feel called or compelled by spirit, I will do some readings. But that's only if, spirit wants me to. Anyone knocking around me? Do you mean like are there any spirits around you? There's always spirits around us all the time. Spirits are just a thought away. They're really intertwined with us. I'm a scientist as well as a medium, which is a great combination. So for those of you who don't know me or have never seen my content before, hello, Debbie. Hello, everyone. Hi, thanks for all the follows. For those of you who don't know me, I have a bachelor's degree in biology and a master's degree in astronomy, with some astrophysics in there too. And I, talk a lot about the connection between science and mediumship and how important that connection is. And all energy in the universe, one of the laws of physics and of the universe, I'm just trying to read comments at the same time. Hi, is energy cannot be created or destroyed, and neither matter can only be converted to energy or converted to another form. So when our physical body passes, our energy of our consciousness cannot be destroyed. So it has to go somewhere, and it just goes into, some people like to think of it as another dimension or realm. Regardless, it's intertwined with us. And do I have a favorite book on the subject? My favorite book is Dr. Michael Newton, Journey of Souls. Right now, there's lots of books, but Dr. Michael Newton, Journey of Souls is one that probably my favorite one. Let's see. I have a new setup, so I'm trying to get used to it. Let's see. Delilah, haven't seen you for some time. Yeah, I've had lots of stuff going on. I work full time, and I also was traveling for some of my science stuff. My heater's turning on, and I'm already hot, so I might have to go turn that off. I was traveling for some of my science stuff and working on some of my science stuff. I don't really want to say too much about it, but so I was busy doing that. And my full-time job takes a lot of energy, and I have a family. So, great question. Do spirits have a choice whether they stay or transcend? So, Stout Trout, do you mean, do they have a choice of whether they stay in the spirit world or stay on Earth? because that could mean a couple of different things. If you mean, do they have a choice whether to stay on Earth or go to the spirit world, they can do whatever they want. If you think of it as our soul is not completely in our body. Our soul is too powerful to inhabit one human body. So really we only have a piece of our soul that inhabits our body. So when our body passes, our soul can be, because of quantum physics, our soul can be in many places at once. It's not just in our body. So what we have is an oversoul, kind of like a mainframe computer. Like at work, if you have like a computer room where the mainframe is and all the laptops in the place are hooked into that, that's kind of like the oversoul would be the mainframe, and there's all these different pieces of your soul that can be in different places at different times. So the soul can come and go and do whatever it wants. I do not believe that any soul gets stuck. I do not agree with that. I have never seen anything like that in any of my readings or experiences. So if that's what you meant, let me know. Spirit from on Earth. Okay, yeah. Yeah, they can do whatever. They can come and go because they're energy. And like just now, just talking about it, it starts to bring them closer to my awareness. And I always kind of see things over and feel it over on this side for whatever reason. That's just how I work. All mediums, if you watch them work, if you watch mediums work, you'll see, I haven't read Seth Speaks, but I've heard about it. I probably should. Oh, thank you, Carol. If you watch mediums work and do readings, you'll see most of the time they kind of look in one direction for the most part. And so that's the way they make the connection. Almost always when I connect, I'm looking over to this side, but occasionally I'll be pulled to the other side, especially when I have more than one spirit kind of communicating with me. Sometimes they'll come in from the other side to get my attention. No, I haven't read Seth Speaks. I think I said that. Happy holidays to you, Carol. You like my Grinch painting? I made some videos about it. I got Cindy Lou Who. She's right there. And the Grinch is up at the top of Mount Crumpet. Do emotions of loved ones limit their choices? I don't know what you mean. Like humans? Like, or... I don't understand that. Let's see. Can you tell if someone has passed? Do you mean me personally? Like, are you missing someone that's like a missing person and you want to know if they passed away? I don't, if that's your question, I don't do missing person cases. That is not my, I could probably learn to do that eventually. I'm not trained to do that. And I try not to do anything that I am not trained to do. But I don't do that. I'm very busy with my full-time job. So I haven't had that kind of training. I would, maybe someday I will, because it sounds like I could help a lot of people by doing that. Hi, Manny Maven. Let's see. Can spirit help us if we have health problems? Like, do you mean if you get a reading from a medium that can say you have something wrong with your liver and maybe you need to do this thing? Or you don't know if you have a health problem? Like, do you mean if you already know or if you don't know? SD12233. You are welcome, Momo. Hi, Tangerine. Okay, Momo. I would say her son is missing. Their son is missing. And searching for answers. There are some mediums and psychics that do that work. Email me. peacefulnik, N-I-K, themedium@gmail.com. It's the same as my website. I have a pinned comment here with my website. My email is the same spelling, it's just @gmail.com. If you email me, I have a very strong group of mediums that I'm friends with. I can reach out and try to see if any of them can help you themselves, or if they can refer you to somebody. But I would not do that because I don't have the proper training, and I definitely don't want to break somebody's heart. That is not why I do this. Stout Trout, can a living loved one's strong emotions keep a spirit earthbound? No. I don't believe that. I don't believe that's a possibility. Your spirit is so powerful that your human emotions cannot contain someone else's spirit. Plus, all spirits have free will. That would be my answer to that. I am a person who, I do not like to be held anywhere, like trapped. I have claustrophobia, but that's a whole other story. But I can't even imagine that a spirit would allow someone's human emotions to hold them here. I just, a spirit will only hang around if they want to. They aren't going to be held by anyone. Dana Clark, I miss my mother so much. I just wish I would get a sign from her so I know it's really her. So Dana, and for anybody who's looking for a sign, and then there's an ancient spirits question, which I can't wait to answer. When you are looking for a sign, you can ask for a specific sign that is important to you and the person, in this case, your mother. My mother, actually, I have her nativity scene from the early 1970s under my Christmas tree right now. My mother comes to me in a couple of ways. One of the ways she comes to me is with doves. She loved doves. She always talked about doves. And almost always, when I need to feel her presence, a dove will land near me or come in very close proximity to me. And just so happens I just moved to a new place, and outside the day we were looking at the new place, a pair of doves landed like 10 feet from where I was. And it was just really cool. When you don't always have to ask for a specific sign, but if you do ask for a specific sign, it can be so let's say you ask for a dove or a cardinal or something. Let's just pretend you asked for some kind of bird. The bird can be real and sit in front of you in real life. It can be on social media when you're scrolling through. It can be on television. It can be on the radio, somebody talking about a bird. It can be in a conversation. It can be, you're walking through, I don't know, a corridor of a building that you've never been in before, and there's a picture of that bird. It doesn't have to be a literal physical thing for spirit to show you. So you can ask for a specific sign, and it might not happen in 5 minutes. It could be 2 days or a week, which is kind of pushing it depending on the person. The other thing is, if there's something that reminds you of your mother, let's say, I don't know, blue Christmas ribbon reminds you of your mother, and every time you see that, you think of her. That could be her showing up as that blue Christmas ribbon. Not her, but the sign. As soon as you see that blue Christmas ribbon, if you think of her, that is her trying to say, I'm here. She's going to draw your attention to that. There's several different scenarios to this too. It's not just that simple. But anything you see that reminds you of her and you immediately think of her and it's consistent, that's her sign, I would say. And you only know it's really her if you believe it. So nothing, some people are very skeptical, and aren't going to believe it unless, somebody scrolls on their mirror in the steam from the shower, "Hi, it's your mom, I love you." It's not going to be that straightforward. So ancient spirits. What about ancient spirits? Oh no, a whole bunch of stuff. Hi, one of my students is on here. Hi, girl. Ooh, let's see, ancient spirits, where'd it go? What about ancient spirits? So I'm not sure what you're asking about ancient spirits, but there are many ancient spirits. So the universe is 14 approximately billion years old. That's a long time. Humans have only been Homo sapiens for about 250,000 years, give or take. That's a big bunch of difference. So there could be ancient spirits that are 10 billion years old from a planet that was blown up from its star exploding 9 billion years ago or 10 billion years ago. So ancient spirits will exist. Everything in the universe still exists. Every particle, every atom, every bit of energy has always existed. It's just always recycled. And so spirits are energy, and so they're just always recycled from some, could have been matter that was turned into energy, and now that energy manifests as a spirit. So if you have a more specific question, type it in there. Oh, Stout Trout, good question. How do you communicate with spirits or guides? What is your method, visual or auditory? Well, I actually posted a video about this today or yesterday, about clairs. So what I didn't know was, because I became a medium much later in life, I've had a whole career in science for decades, and I became a medium just by chance. But I had something called claircognizance from birth, I presume. I always knew things that were going to happen. I always knew things that were going to happen ahead of time. I always knew decisions people were going to make. I just knew things, and I thought everybody just knew things. And it seems ridiculous now that I even say that out loud, that I just assumed everybody knew things other people were going to do. But because I always was like that, I always thought that. And then I started having some mediumship experiences that were crazy and took me by surprise. But what I call my first true mediumship experience was very visual inside my head. And it was extremely clear, crystal clear. And I could see the person and I could hear the person, but inside my head. I had heard that my friend's son had passed, and I hadn't seen this young man since he was a baby, and he was 25 when he passed. And my sister called me earlier in the day. She said, so-and-so passed. I have permission from his mother to tell this story, by the way. And I've told the story many times. And I laid down a little while later to take a nap. It was broad daylight. I wasn't laying there for 30 seconds. And all of a sudden, in my head, my mind's eye, I see this young man's face, Brandon. I'll never forget it. I could see the color sweater he had on. I could see the necklace he had on. I could see his face, his hair. I mean, crystal clear. And he said, "Tell my mom I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it." And I found out a few days later, he passed from an accidental drug overdose. Oh, and as soon as, but earlier, rewind, when my sister said Brandon passed away, in my head, I immediately heard, this was earlier when I first found out, I heard in my head, heroin overdose. But I didn't, stuff like that always happened to me, so I never gave it a second thought, and I knew I would find that out. I just knew, it's just knowing. And so I laid down to take a nap. Then I saw him in my mind's eye and heard him say, tell my mom I'm sorry. And I couldn't sleep. It was so dramatic and so shocking. And so I called my sister. I said, oh my God, I don't know how to explain this, but Brandon came to me in a vision and he said, tell my mom I'm sorry. And in my head earlier, I heard heroin overdose. She's like, oh my God, that's crazy. Blah, blah, blah. I talked to the mom. 4 days later, we found out that's how he did pass from an accidental drug overdose. And what I described when I saw him is what he looked like. And remember, I hadn't seen him since he was newborn. So I communicate visually, auditory, claircognizance. I have a lot of clairsentience. I feel physical pains. I have felt people having heart attacks, lung stuff, kidney problems, stabbing, shooting. Like I can feel it. Like sometimes it's so strong that I have to pause during a reading and ask the spirit to back off the pain and the feeling because it's very painful. And it's kind of shocking the first few times that happened when I was giving a reading. It's kind of shocking because I thought, oh, I have heartburn. Or, you know, if like it's an aneurysm, I'll get a pain in my head. Oh, I have a headache. But then as soon as I'm done telling them that part, it just goes away. And it has happened consistently over and over and over and over and over. Occasionally, very rarely, I smell things. Very rarely. That's probably my least utilized clair. I am working on my clairvoyance to see things projected on my wall in front of my desk, which does happen. So I'm working on that. I do not want to see spirits fully formed in front of me. I think that will scare me. I'm kind of a scaredy cat. I have a sister. My mom passed when I was 15, and I'm way older than that now. I have adult children, so I'm way older than that. It's been a long time. My sister, who's not really spiritual or probably doesn't even believe I'm a medium, she has no kind of sense of that. She sees my mom fully formed in front of her at the foot of her bed and has seen her several times over the past 30-something years. So, which is crazy, but that's what happens. And that would scare me if I saw that. That would totally scare me. So I hope that answered your question. I have, while we're sitting here, I have a free class in January. You can sign up. You have to email me for that. It's peacefulnickthemedium@gmail.com, or you can email me through my website. It's pinned in a comment somewhere. Let me know if you guys can see the pinned comment or the intro. Completely free beginner's mediumship class starts in January. I have to look at my calendar. It's probably early part of January. I have a full mediumship beginner's class starting at the end of January. That's a 6-month class and mentorship. It's 3 hours every fourth Saturday for 6 months. I have readings, obviously. You book them on my website. I have merch. Oh, this is one of my pieces of merch. All my merch is my original artwork and photography. This is one of my, I'm a teacher, so I have lots of bags. This is my artwork on a bag. This is original photography. This is the West Coast of California, and it's a notebook. I take lots of notes for my mediumship. I have a chakra shirt. This is my original painting. Chakra shirt. This is one of my favorites. You can go through my website. There's a get merch button. And then this is another piece of spirit art. This is a long sleeve. I love long sleeve t-shirts. Sweaters make me too hot. So this is one of my pieces of merch. You can get merch, you can get gift cards. Christmas is coming up. You can go on my website and order gift cards for your loved ones. And then I contact them to see when they want to book their reading. All of that on my website, peacefulnickthemedium.com. Nick is N-I-K. And it's in my bio, in my link tree. Okay. I'm so sorry, Adam, Tara. That's kind of a dramatic, I wouldn't want to do that here live. That's a bit, that may take over the whole live, and I don't really feel comfortable doing that. S Brunette 004. How can I tell if my son's visiting me? He's been gone for a month. I'm very sorry. I can't even imagine how painful that is. I would give it a couple of months, minimum of 3, before you really start looking for that kind of stuff. But if you feel like you're already getting visits, I mean, I've gotten visits the day people have passed, obviously. The one I just told, my first mediumship experience and my second mediumship experience were both the day the person passed. There's lots of ways to tell. One is, say he's a young child and his toy in his room goes off. Say you start thinking about him and a light starts flickering. Say his picture is on the mantle and it flops over. There's a lot of different ways. It's what does your instinct tell you as soon as something happens? Or are you thinking, oh, that was him? That's the best way to tell. Ooh, Valerie, that's a great question. When you talk to the loved ones, do they look the same way as they were when they were here? So, when they want to be recognized as validation during a reading, they will show me what my client, what the sitter remembers them looking like. For instance, if somebody was 75 when they passed away and bald, they're not going to show me themselves when they were 30 and had hair, because if it's, say, a grandchild, the grandchild's not going to recognize them when they were 30 and had hair. They'll show me how the sitter will recognize them. But sometimes, if they were bald and they wanted to have hair, or they lost their hair for a certain reason, they'll really point that out. So they can look however they want. But when they're communicating with me, they usually want to show me how their loved one who's sitting in front of me remembers how they look. Because in spirit, you don't have a body. You're just a ball of energy. And actually, here, I'll show you on my bag. This is one of my pictures inspired by Dr. Michael Newton's book. In real life, this is a lot lighter. These are more pastel. But in spirit, you're like these energy orbs. They're much paler than that. And you don't have a body. So your energy just leaves your body and is just one of these orbs. So, great question. Oh, yeah, good answer. Flaming Autistic. She's my student. Okay. Tangerine, I don't do psychic predictions. I do not do that. About jobs or love or babies or anything. Hold on. When your loved ones get to heaven, do your family get with them right away? Great question. So, I want to tell a story. My son, who's now an adult, when he was a little boy, way before I was ever a medium, 20 years before, he would wake up every morning and he would tell me, Mommy, I went to heaven last night. And I'm thinking, okay, I didn't want to shame him. I wanted to, listen to what he had to say. And it's not that I didn't believe him. It was just something different to say to your mom. And he would tell me these elaborate stories. And he said, I'm starting to lose my voice. He said his job when he goes to heaven every night, because that's what he said, and day after day after day after day after day after day, he told me these stories. His job was to take people who passed away on earth to help take their soul to heaven to meet their family. Now, he was 3 to 5 years old, maybe 6, when he was telling me these stories. He obviously couldn't read yet, and we didn't have, this was 20 something years ago, so I was not a medium. I wasn't reading him medium books or anything. I didn't know how he knew this. And then when I read Dr. Michael Newton's Journey of Souls, this was about a year ago, my mind was blown, because he described something very similar to the things my son always said. So what we have, according to Dr. Michael Newton's research, is we have a primary soul group or family soul group, a secondary soul group, and a tertiary. So the ring of your group gets bigger and bigger and more distant. So if you're a normal person that has not committed atrocities against people, if you're just a normal person with a normal life, relatively, when you pass away, you are greeted by your loved ones in spirit. Now, just because you're biologically related to someone on earth doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be in your primary soul group. But often your family and close loved ones are in your primary soul group or your secondary. So, for instance, if you have a best friend that is not related to you, but you're best friends for your whole life, of course they're going to be in your primary soul group, more than likely. So when you pass, everything's telepathic. It's not like you pass away, your spirit goes to heaven, and you're all standing there in your regular clothes talking to each other. It's a feeling and an exchange of information that's not like a conversation like we're having. And the second part, to tell them what to do, you don't have to be told what to do. You automatically know where you're at. And this is why in so many religious traditions, they call it going home. I'm going home, or going to heaven, but a lot of people call it going home, because it's where you're really from. Earth isn't where you're really from. The spirit world is where we're from. That's home. So you don't have to be told what to do. You know where you're at. So you know what's happening. You are welcome, Valerie. Do we remember who we were before dying? Yes. Yes, we do. And Mom's Hummingbirds, oh, I love that name. Do they know when we are going to pass? So, several different people have written about having exit points in our life. So when we go to the spirit world, and we prepare to have a human life, or maybe a life on another planet, which happens, we have an outline. Like in English class, when you were in 5th or 6th grade and you had to write an English paper, I don't even know if they do that anymore, but I did it growing up. You made an outline. Number 1, my life. Number 2, childhood trauma. Number 3, meet my best friend. Number 4, meet the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. Number 5, have a tragic accident. So you have an outline of the challenges, the highs and lows of your life. It's not always stuck to 1,000,000%, but the basic outline is there. And you have places where you have an exit point. Okay, let's say at 1 year old, there's, something happens. I get my head stuck in a railing and I can't get it out. That's an exit point. Do I want to continue this life or do I want to leave this life? When you're 20, you go to a party, you drink too much, it's an exit point. These are examples, by the way. You drink too much, am I going to survive or not? Do I want to stay here or do I want to go? When you're 45, you get in a car accident. That's an exit point. Do I want to stay or do I want to go? I had an exit point when I was 6 months old. I drowned in a river and my dad had to pull me out. That was my exit point. And let me tell you, knowing what I know now from my childhood, I'm surprised I decided to stay. So yeah, they know when it's possible for you to pass. But time in the spirit world is not like time here. There's no time as we know it. Teacher knows best. Yeah, it's a great book. Yeah, I bet Steve is in my, probably. Stephen Wagner, are my soul contracts complete? I don't do like soul contract readings or Akashic records. Blue Owl Wisdom, who is on this app, Blue Owl Wisdom, she does Akashic records readings. She might be able to help you with that. Tina Marie, my mom sign to me was times. All of a sudden they just stopped. There could be a lot of reasons. She could be busy in the spirit world, preparing to come back in her next life. She could be learning something new. She could be teaching someone in the spirit world or several in the spirit world. She could think maybe you just need time, a break from her signs to heal. There's many, many reasons why that could happen. Thank you for all the follows. Hi, Not a Beauty Guru. How are you? Yeah, old people usually know when it's time. You're welcome, Mom's Hummingbirds. Jennifer, what was my son's job when he went to heaven every night? His job was to take people's souls who passed away here on earth to meet their family in the spirit world. I really wish, so if you have young children in your life that talk to spirits or talk about spirits, write it down and date it, because I regret not writing everything down. There was one time I had a car with a sunroof or moonroof and it was open. And I was, you know how sometimes by a highway, there's a side road that's parallel to the highway. And I was going to the grocery store or something. And it was just me and my son, my youngest son. And I'm driving. He was young, so he was in the back seat in his forward-facing car seat. That's how young he was. He was probably 3 or 4. And he had his arm up on the seat. And he's talking, and there was nobody there that I could see. And he's like, blah, 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 blah. I said, hey, who are you talking to? And he said, oh, this little girl. And I said, oh, who's that little girl? And he said, oh, her and her dad died in a car accident on the highway, and she came in through the roof. And I'm just telling her it's okay to go to heaven. And I was like, okay. You know, I mean, and stuff like that happened all the time with him for about 3 years at least. It was very regular occurrence. But he told me he had a best friend in heaven. He had a name. His name was Simi. He said, when you go to heaven, if you want a house with, you know, a purple house, you just imagine it and you get a purple house. You know, like all of these things, and these things that he said when I read Dr. Michael Newton's book, so many things he said as a 3, 4, 5-year-old 20-something years ago were in this book. And I just wept and wept. I mean, talk about validation. Your baby boy tells you, you know, 25 to 30 things that you read in a book 20-something years later. I mean, it was amazing. Let's see. Steffi Baker, can you tell me who I was in a past life? I don't do the past life regressions. There's, what is the lady's name on here? I follow her and I cannot think of her name. She does past life regressions. Email me, Steffi, peacefulnickthemedium@gmail.com. It's the same as my website name. Nick is N-I-K @gmail.com. And I have her in my email, and I'll email you her contact or website, because she does that. Because I don't do past life regressions. I'm not trained. Oh, Mimi, my grandson starts the stories off with, and 20 years ago. Yeah, write those down and date them. I really wish I would have done that. Valerie, the name of the book is Journey of Souls, Dr. Michael Newton. It was written in the 90s, but it holds up. It's about, there was I can't remember, he's a psychologist or he must have been a psychiatrist. I don't know, psychologist or psychiatrist. And he was just doing his regular job, you know, treating people. And he would put them under a state of hypnosis, just regular treatment. And he did thousands of these over many years. And he would hypnotize people to help them deal with their past trauma. And one day, accidentally, a woman slipped into a life between lives. Meaning, so let's say 100 years ago, she was, you know, Jane Doe, and now she's Sally Sue. But in between those two lives, she was in the spirit world. And so he was regressing her to her childhood. But what ended up happening is she went into, before she was born on Earth, to her life in the spirit world. And he totally had no idea that that was going to happen. And it explains it all in the intro of the book, how all of it came about. But he ended up doing thousands of these over many years. And the consistency of these stories from people who did not know each other, lived very far apart from each other, had no way to contact. And so he wrote this in the 90s. And he probably did this through the 80s, and there was no internet. You couldn't just look this stuff up. So it's fascinating, the things that are consistently described by person after person after person, the way the spirit world looks, the things that happen there, the types of energy beings that are there, the communication. Amazing. And you can get it for like $12 on Amazon. Do you think that when people pass, Gina Marie, they get a flashback of their life? Like, okay. I'm reading like 3 different questions. Do they get a flash? I mean, like a life review? Sure, yeah, I think you probably get a life review, and I think that's in Dr. Michael Newton's book too. I've also heard it described as not so much as necessarily a life review of every event in your life, but a review of you feeling how you made others feel. And the first time I heard that, I was like, oh, that's really deep. Because if you have to feel the way you made others feel and you didn't always make others feel good, you're going to feel all the pain you caused everyone. So if you made people happy, you're going to feel that. So not that I was some kind of mean person, but I think of that sometimes when I get a little attitude sometimes, and I'm like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't do that. But it's more, I've heard it described as more of you feel the way you made others feel. Mom's hummingbirds. Does your son remember any of that? Well, he's 23 now, and he does not like to talk about it. He knows I talk about it, and I don't use his name normally. I may have said it once or twice in some live at some point, but he doesn't want me to talk about him by name. And I said, Isaiah, sweetheart, you have an ability that many people would love to have, and he's not ready, and he doesn't want to talk about it. I'm sure he remembers it. He never denies it. He just told too many stories to not be able to remember it. It was a big part of his life. Sorry. Yeah, he will. He will. I'm not worried about it. I know he will. Somebody asked, does my mother-in-law, Pat, have anything to say to my husband? When I read that, all I heard was knock it off. So whatever he's doing, she's saying knock it off. Tell me if that makes sense. Yeah, he's a good person, Mom's hummingbirds. I say bless his heart a lot. So while I'm waiting for more messages to load, I have merch. Christmas is coming, Hanukkah, etc. Notebooks, original photography, cups. It's all in my merch store. There's so many choices. Artwork on bags. There's makeup bags. Chakra shirt. This is all my original artwork put on items through my merch store. My spirit art on a long sleeve t-shirt. I have a free beginner's class starting in January, totally free, no obligation. There's no tricks. It's totally free. It's through Zoom. You'll learn a lot. I have beginner's mediumship class. That's 6 months class and mentorship that starts in January. It's 3 hours, 1 Saturday a month for 6 months. I have readings. I have gift cards. You can order a gift card on my website, and then great for Christmas presents. Really, really, really great for Christmas presents. Also, I am going live again on Sunday with 2 of my mediumship friends through Zoom. So if you look at the past few days on my TikToks, we are doing free readings on a Zoom call. There's 3 of us mediums. I'm going to be streaming it live on TikTok, and it's going to be on Zoom. The Zoom is free. All the information to join the Zoom is they're in my TikToks. Just go back and look for them. It's just the past couple of days. And they're free readings from 3 mediums. And it's Sunday at noon Pacific time, 3 Eastern time. I don't know what's happening out there. It's a big noise outside. Noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. For an hour and a half, we're doing free readings on Zoom. So you can come onto TikTok and watch, or you can just go right into the Zoom and see if you can get a reading. 3 mediums, me, Wendy D'Angelo. Follow Wendy D'Angelo. Follow Certified Medium Kathy Behrens. I'm trying to get them to 1,000 followers each so we can all go live together on here. Thank you for the roses and the followers. I think I have abilities. Yeah, I had dream premonition, Steffi. If you want to join my free class, it's literally free. I'm just gonna send a Zoom link and have a class, probably the, I don't know, second week of January or so. First or second Saturday in January. Email me and I'll put you in the class. It's totally free. Peacefulnik, N-I-K, themedium@gmail.com. Can I chat with my own dead relatives? Yes, I can. I don't often. I feel like they're constantly here with me all the time. I have mediumship circles with my mediumship buddies, and the same people come through all the time. My mom and my uncle come through all the time. All the time, all the time, all the time. So I don't really necessarily feel the need to get. Before I was a medium, I would see shows, on TV about it, and I would think, God, I would love to get a reading. I thought it was this thing that was so hard to get a reading. Like, I didn't know you could just look somebody up on the internet and get a reading. I thought it was like some complicated process. But now I know it's not that complicated. And it's, I keep my prices really reasonable because I do most of my readings on Zoom. So all of my clients are across the country and across the world, really. And so I know the economies are different in different places, even within our own country. And so I keep my prices pretty low for that reason. And I have a full-time job, so it's not like I'm not just doing this for my living. So I can chat with my dead relatives, but I don't really do it that often. Because if I have a question, I can just think about my mom. I just feel like she's just been sitting here with me this whole time. Just hanging out. And I just feel her energy. But I don't know. I feel like she's guided me every day since she passed away when I was 15. And so she's just kind of with me all the time. Even in the worst times of my life, which we all have. I don't know. I just have always felt her presence. It's really indescribable. I just feel like she's always there. My uncle loves to come through. He has come through to one of my medium friends at least probably 5 times in readings. We were very close. He gave me away at my wedding. And it's just crazy. He just comes through and he's always got some kind of very pertinent message. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Jennifer Diaz. Oh, hold on. Okay. Could you please, this is Kimmy, Divine Tarot. Hi, Kimmy. Could you please repeat how to sign up for your free class? Email me, peacefulnik, N-I-K, the medium, all in a row, peacefulnik, N-I-K, the medium, @gmail.com. I pinned a comment, but I don't see the pinned comment. It's in the pinned comment. Oh no, I lost the... Thank you, Flaming Autistic. She's in my intermediate class. Oh, and we have our intermediate class tomorrow. The free class is a steal. Yeah, it is. I'm trying to be giving. It's the holiday season. Alma, why don't you get, no, it has nothing to do with them not being English. Mm-mm. No, I can communicate with people in other languages because it's energy, it's not language. What does the mentorship class help you with? Learning about my beginner's mentorship class, you learn about your clairs, you learn how to connect with your spirit guide, you learn how to differentiate between one spirit and more than one spirit and try to separate those out. If you email me, peacefulnickthemedium@gmail.com, I have a whole list. I can just send you the list of what you learn in there. But you learn a lot. You learn more than you ever think you will. Yeah, your mother-in-law's Spanish, yep. Thank you, Flaming. Okay, Steffi, good. What? Something, my screen is sticking. Will a spirit avoid visiting you often if they feel guilty for leaving? No, they don't feel guilty. Spirit does not feel guilty. No underscores, Steffi. No underscores. If you go to my bio and there's a link tree in my bio, click on that and all my stuff's in there. My website, all of it. My merch, all of it. Yes, Kimmy, I repeated that. No, Jennifer, I can't see. I mean, I may be able to see who murdered those Idaho College kids, but I'm not a forensic medium. And I am not trained to do that. I could get trained to do that. I just haven't been. My goal, my specialty is helping people heal from the loss of their loved ones. Some people do get trained to see things like that. I'm sure I could do it. I wouldn't do it because I'm not properly trained for that. And it would be unethical. And a lot of people do that kind of stuff for clout. And, oh, I can see this, or I can see that, or this person, this or that, famous cases. That's not me. I'm not trying to get clout. I want a simple life, and I just want to help people kind of under the radar. How does communication work at that point? I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, a whole bunch of stuff. Thank you, Jennifer. peacefulnickthemedium@gmail.com. Yes, yes, yes. Are you answering yes, no questions? Some of them. Hi, Joanna. You practiced. Good. Thank you. Oh, I can't wait to hear about it tomorrow. Good, good, good. Very good. I hope everybody practiced. What signs should my daughter keep an eye out for their dad in spirit? Tell them to ask for a specific sign. This is a great question. When you want to get a sign, you can ask for a specific sign. I've told this story dozens of times. I was very skeptical because I'm a scientist. So when I became a medium, it was very hard for me to accept that it was real. I still question it just because of my scientific training and background. So I asked my spirit guide. So you don't want to ask, I had a hard time believing spirit guides were real too. I'm just going to be honest about that. I would say don't ask for something like pennies or dimes because that's too common and you could see them anywhere. And don't ask for a pirate ship to pull up in your front yard. I would say the pennies and dimes are too easy. The pirate ship's too complicated. It was March a few years ago, and I just in my head popped snow globe. So it wasn't Christmas because it was March. I asked my spirit guide to show me a snow globe. And that day or the next day, I'm scrolling social media, snow globe. Had never seen one. Didn't say it out loud because you know your phones listen to you. I didn't say it out loud. I said it in my head. I asked my spirit guide to show me a snow globe. And I saw 2 advertisements in March with snow globes. But that wasn't even the end of it. That I could brush off as coincidence. Then the next day, I went, my husband loves golf, so we go to this golf store to look at golf stuff. And on the counter of the golf store in March was a snow globe with a golf pin and ball in it. And I was like, all right, you got me. What are the odds of that? So something reasonable. Ask for something reasonable. And it can be in person. It can be on social media. It can be on TV. It can be on the radio. It can be in conversation. It can be a picture you see on the wall somewhere. Any of those things. Steffi, no, I cannot tell you the names of your spirit guides, and I would not tell you the names of your spirit guides. It is completely unethical of me to to interject myself into your spirit guide's realm. Honestly, spirit guides don't really have names, and they don't care what you call them because they're energy. I said when I wanted to know my spirit guide's name, do you know how hard it was? I'll tell you. I said, okay, because I was getting trained. And I was like, okay, here we go. I was skeptical, and I closed my eyes and went into like a 5-second meditation. And I said, okay, what's your name? And immediately I heard George. That was it. There he was. So just close your eyes. And have you found your spirit guides? Do you know what they look like yet? There's ways. Let me teach everybody a couple of ways. So my mediumship teacher taught us this way. And it's a long, drawn out, like 10-minute process, but I'm going to make it like 30 seconds. You're relaxed. You're on the beach. The sun is setting. You can hear the waves, swish, swish, swish. You're walking down the beach. You're walking slowly. It's kind of like a meditation or sitting in the power. You're going down the beach. You're going down the beach. You're going down the beach. And there's a chair. And who's in the chair? And it's supposed to be your spirit guide. That's one way. There's another way where you're in a cabin and there's like a kitchen table. And you go in the cabin and it's in the woods and the snow's on the ground and it's silent and wonderful. And you sit in the chair and you look across from you and there's your spirit guide. So, or the way I'm pretty sure this is how I teach it in my classes. It's kind of fuzzy because they blend together. Close your eyes, take some deep breaths, ask your spirit guide to come through. Who do you see in front of you? If there's a person there, that's your spirit guide. Ask them what their name is. That's the simplest way. Close your eyes, take some deep breaths, see who's in front of you in your head. I have a guide in front of me and I have a guide behind me. She's called Mother Guide. She looks completely different from George. They're very different guides. Mother Guide's just kind of always, it's not my mother. It's not her. She's not my mom. That's the name she gave me, Mother Guide. And she's always standing behind me. She's just there. And I don't even notice her. I just feel like she's just there when I think about it. So there's several ways. Oh, Tori. Hi, Cha-Cha. Everybody follow Psychic Medium Cha-Cha. She is amazing. She goes live all the time, so much more than me. She does readings all the time. So many more. She does so many more live readings than I do. She's wonderful. Please follow her. Somebody said, if I picture someone I already know, does that mean they're my spirit guide? There are some mediums who have very strict rules. Okay. I am more lenient. I don't think that we know the entirety of the rules of the spirit world. I think some people think, oh my God, you can't have a person that's a relative be your guide. Well, a guide is just a label humans put on it. So if, like my mom, she's not my spirit guide, but she guides me all the time and has always since she passed. So is she my spirit guide or a guide, or does it matter what I call it? If she's there, she's guiding me from spirit. Wouldn't she be a spirit guide? So I believe whoever you loved, whoever's in your life, whoever has passed, if you feel their presence and you feel they're helping you and you think they're your spirit guide, that does not bother me one bit. However, there are some mediums who are like, no, a loved one can't be a spirit guide. I'm not the judge of that at all. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to help people heal. That's what I'm here for. Right, Tori. Okay. Allie, I just feel like I'm making it up. Oh, I think I must have missed something. Thank you. Yeah, Psychic Medium Cha-Cha agrees. Please follow her. She is wonderful. We don't know all the rules. I would never claim to know all the rules. I wish I could. Hi, Manny Maven. I wish I get more clarity when spirits are giving me signs. Ask for clarity. Meditate. Sit in the power. Ask for it. You are welcome. Yeah, you're not making it up. I thought for a long time it is very hard, I can tell you, to go from a science career, and I still work in science in my day job and then my part-time other science job. This is my third job. It is very hard to have that science training and then talk to spirits and think, am I crazy? It's hard. But then when you get evidence, you can ask Flaming Autistic. If she's still on here, she's one of my students. The evidence you get that is validated by the people you're giving readings to is like, that's what makes you feel like you're not crazy and you realize you're not making it up. Because there are things. I was giving a reading to a lady. Okay, there's a couple of layers to this story. I was giving a reading to a client, a paid client. And her dad kept saying her name repeatedly. And I knew her name. She was sitting in front of me. I knew what her name was. And I'm like, he keeps saying, I'm going to say Adriana. I don't remember off the top of my head what her name was. Adriana. And I'm like, I know her name. She knows her name. Why do you keep saying this? And I asked her, is there something weird about your name or something special or particular about your name? Your dad just keeps repeating your name over and over and over. And this is where something called psychic amnesia comes in, where a client or sitter is so anxious or excited about the reading that some things don't click in their head and they don't remember it till later. So I go through this whole reading with this wonderful woman and I'm like, Adriana. Oh, I said, he is not letting up on this name. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, okay. And I'm just like doing the rest of the reading, giving her other information. And then I'm like, thank you. We're wrapping up. I always do a follow-up at the end of every reading. And she's like, oh my God, I remembered. I'm like, what? She goes, I know why he keeps saying my name. I go, oh, good. Because I'm thinking, I've lost it. She goes, my name was misspelled on my birth certificate. And it was a really big deal in our family and blah, 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 and on and told me the whole story. And I'm like, there you go. Sometimes when you're doing a reading, for me, when I'm doing a reading, if the spirit keeps repeating it, or like sometimes I'm like, they're shoving it in my head and in my face and like, say it, say it, say it, keep saying it, keep saying it, keep saying it until they remember. And that was the case with this client. You know, it's something important, and to just keep repeating it. And there are other cases where, and I felt so relieved when she said that, other cases where you give them evidence and they have psychic amnesia and they don't remember during the reading, and then they email you later, because I always send all my clients a follow-up email. They email you later and they say, remember that thing you told me? And I was like, I have no idea. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, my grandma reminded me of that thing you told me, that piece of evidence. And yeah, you were right. And I'm like, okay, that's third-party evidence, which is also awesome. That's the best. When you tell the client something and they don't know, and then they ask somebody in the family and they're like, oh yeah, this something happened. It's the best. Okay, let's see. Joy, okay. I connected with a spirit in our first free beginner class and seriously was afraid I was making it up, but then I got the evidence. That's right. That is right. I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow in class. I have a class. My intermediate class is tomorrow. Oh, yay. She's receiving good. Yay. Oh, I'm so happy. Our last class was so good. I was teaching my students the difference between psychic and medium, and I think it was probably the best class I've ever had. Psychic, medium, cha-cha. Do you ever feel like you're not the one talking during a reading? Yeah, I'll give you an example, cha-cha, and everybody follow her. I get migraines occasionally, not often. I'm very lucky. I only get them like once a year, but I'll get a migraine, and I can't cancel on a client if I feel like I can do the reading, and I shouldn't probably do the reading, but my experience that I'm going to share will explain why I go ahead with the reading. When I do the reading, my migraine goes away. It's as if I am dissociated from my body, and the spirit is the one communicating and using me as a vessel. And so I no longer feel my own physical pain if I have a migraine or a bellyache or whatever the case may be. And then I do the reading. It's like channeling, I guess, sometimes. And sorry, there's a dog barking outside. I don't know if you guys can hear it. And so, yeah, I don't feel like I'm completely out of my body, but I do kind of feel like I'm halfway here and halfway not here. Once I'm in the zone and I'm completely connected, I definitely feel like like if I got some more channeling training, which I think my teacher can probably do that with, teach me that some more, because I've had some classes with that. I'm a little afraid to completely let go and give in. So I kind of it's like keeping one foot on the ground and one foot in the air. When I'm doing readings, like I'm afraid to completely lose control. I am scared of what will happen. It's like I'm afraid of my own ability sometimes, and I know that sounds terrible, but I'm not afraid like something bad's gonna happen. I'm just like being afraid of your own strength, I guess, would be a good analogy. Do you know what I mean? Cha-cha, let me know if you ever feel that. Yeah. It's in spirit, yeah. Yeah, that's right, flaming autistic. The moment we think or speak, they are there. That is absolutely 100% accurate immediately. Oh, okay, Cha-Cha, thank God you told me that. You feel that and you scare. Yes, that's exactly how I feel. And I tried explaining that to my teacher a couple years ago. And she's like, I don't think she got what I was saying. So I'm glad you understand that. Yeah, yep, that's how I feel. It's scary because we have a lot of potential for power, but not like to use it for evil, but it could be used for evil. And I think that's why so many psychics and mediums get a bad name, because they do it for nefarious reasons. I would never do it for nefarious reasons. But the potential for what we could do is terrifying. Good and bad. Like, I could talk to you all day about that, because I'm glad you understand. We should have like a Zoom or something, or a phone call. Yeah, people use psychic abilities, for nefarious reasons all the time. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Flaming Autistic. I am not Lisa. Spamming is no bueno on here, and plus I am getting very tired. And if I gave you a reading right now, it'd probably be terrible, because I'm very tired. I've been on here for over an hour, and I work all week full time as a teacher. So Friday night, I'm lucky to even be sitting upright. Yeah, send me a DM or email me and we will do a Zoom. I'm on Christmas break until like January 8th, so I'll have time. No problem. I'm going live though, Lisa, on Zoom and TikTok Sunday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. So for everybody on here, I'm going live with 2 other mediums. Wendy D'Angelo, follow her. Certified Medium Kathy Behrens, follow her. Go into my main page and look at the past couple of days. I have the Zoom information, so you can log on. Yeah, that happens, Manny Maven. You guys can log on. It's free. The Zoom is free. I'll be streaming live on TikTok, and you can log into Zoom for free. And there's be 3 mediums there doing free readings. That is Sunday. You can get a gift card on my website. All my stuff's in my link tree in my bio. Gift card for your friends, merch, readings. I have a free class starting in January. If you want to join the free class, email me, peacefulnickthemedium@gmail.com. Completely free, no obligation. My beginner's class starts at the end of January. That's a 6-month class. That's on my website. You can book there. Thank you so much, everyone. I look forward to seeing you, hopefully all on Sunday, 12 noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, on Zoom. It's all on my page and my videos. I have all the Zoom information, so just go through my videos and look at them. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope to see you all on Sunday. Good night. Be peaceful. Be safe.